You're listening to Kizuki, the podcast. I'm Mae Yoshikawa, and I define the Japanese concept of Kizuki as the following. Kizuki 1. A moment of epiphany, an aha of realization or insight which opens the knower to a new dimension of truth that was formerly unknown. 2. Steps in an incremental growth of awareness, resulting in a movement from ignorance to greater awareness of the bigger picture. A kind of knowing that cannot be undone, that cannot be unrealized. As a longtime yoga and meditation practitioner, a world traveler, and curious self-explorer, I'm obsessed with Kizukis. Listen on each week for inspiring and enlightening stories that may just tip you over for your next aha. On this week's episode, to get is to give. Did you ever read that book by the American organizational psychologist and author Adam Grant? He wrote about givers, takers, and matchers in his book, Give and Take, Why Helping Others Drives Our Success. This raised somewhat of a discussion between me and my close circle of friends, where we spoke about, well, are you a giver? Do you consider yourself a taker or a matcher? And what about some of the immediate people in your life? And this awareness of some of the ways that we semi-automatically carry ourselves through life is very telling of our psychology and the morals and choices that we select to represent who we are. It turns out we have a lot of givers in my immediate circle, and sometimes that means that we could unintentionally be surrounded by takers, which can lead to a difficulty in dynamic, and necessarily we need to learn healthy boundaries. And sometimes we also have to come to terms with the fact that not all giving is appropriate or necessary. So it was just a really interesting concept. But it got me thinking about the idea of, well, what about receiving? You see, because if you're anything like me or some of my close friends, and you are a giver, you're someone who likes to readily help others and is comfortable with giving, donating, not just money and material goods, but maybe you're generous with your time, your ideas, your compassion, and your presence. And a lot of times, these types of people, we don't really look back. And sometimes we're not really good receivers when others want to give to us. What do you think about that? So, I don't know. I think for me, I don't know if I would categorize myself in either one of these, but I do understand this dynamic of giving, helping, and wanting to give, but also that receiving, this flow of giving and receiving both ways, is something that is of tremendous significance because, well, we give because of the joys of giving, right? It makes us feel good. It makes us feel one with others. It brings us up. It uplifts us to our best potential. So when we're on the receiving end and we allow others to give to us because we are ready and open to receive, then we must be aware that we are allowing that openness of them being the receivers of joy when they are allowed to give to us. Now, all that to say, okay, so last year I was getting close to wrapping up the year, and I'm normally not very, how would you say, regular with beauty practices. Like, I'm not a normal massage goer, or I don't get facials and stuff like that. It's just never really been my thing. I think I always went for the stuff on the inside. It's for me it's always like the way I meditate or the way I eat first and then. But anyway, so at the end of last year, I got to thinking, "Oh, well, it's been a long time since I went for a massage." And I thought, well, why not just gift that to myself and just say, as we say in Japanese, "Otsukaresama deshita," well done for the full year. That's a wrap. And give myself a few hours of bliss and relaxation away from the kids and the noises of work and all of that. So I did a little bit of research. I found a salon, like a massage therapy place, relatively in my neighborhood that I wanted to try. And then I looked on their menu and I decided, well, heck, I can't even remember the last time I did this for myself. So I'm just going to go for the full thing. So I chose the full 3.5 hour, like head to toe oil massage with a facial and a head massage. It was like a bridal package, what people do before they get married. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go for that. So I booked myself for the end of December. And then I needed to reschedule because something came up for work. But then the kids didn't have school on that day. So I needed to find some play date for my little son, which was in place. And I was going to go to the massage. But then on the day before, I learned that his friend's family had gotten the flu, so the play date wouldn't happen. So unexpectedly, I had to cancel and reschedule. So I couldn't go for my self-care at the end of the year. And instead, I had to reschedule it for January. No big deal, right? And then I was scheduled, I think, for mid-January. And then I got a call from the salon. And they said, oh, we're very sorry. We have to ask you to reschedule because there's only one therapist, one woman who's able to do this menu. Because I didn't know this, but apparently they were a full facial place. And there was only one therapist who was licensed to do the full body and the facial all together. So I could have given up, or I could have just went to another salon or whatever. But something in me, I thought, well, I tried to book it last year twice, and then it didn't happen. And now she's asking for another reschedule. And I thought, I felt, as they say in Japanese, I felt a little tug of en. It's like an invisible thread. I thought it would be very easy to give up and just go for something else. But I thought, why not just give this one salon and this one lady a try? So I said, okay, well, let's look at other dates. And we were looking at the end of January and the beginning of February. But the woman on the phone said, oh, we're very sorry. This menu that you've requested is only available until the end of January. Because in fact, the lady, the therapist who can do it, is leaving at the end of January. So I thought, that's a bummer, because even if I went and suppose I really liked her, I wouldn't be able to go back because she's not going to be there anymore and the menu's not even going to be available at the salon anymore. But for whatever reason, I felt that little slight tug of en, that invisible thread. And I said, okay, well, let's make it happen at the end of January. And I went. Finally, we made it happen at the end of January. And oh my God, I had a wonderful, beautiful, awesome experience. She was this lovely lady, a slightly older woman. And you can tell she'd been at it for a long time. And you can also tell that she really loves her job. Okay, that matters to me, especially when someone's in your energy and in your space and someone is like touching your skin. I want them to really be there and be present. So this lady gave me this beautiful head to toe experience. And after the 3 hours or whatever, and I was settling the bill and having a cup of tea and getting ready to leave, I said to her, well, she said, I apologize for all of the rescheduling. Thank you for coming. And I said, thank you for my beautiful experience. I just felt like I should come. For whatever reason, I felt like I just wanted to give this a try in spite of all the scheduling hassle. And I said, well, it's a bummer. I heard that you're leaving, so I won't be able to come back to you again. And then she looked at me and she said, it's true. My parents are aging and I really love my job and I love this place. So it was a very hard decision for me, but I decided to wrap it up here at the end of the month. And I'm moving back towards my parents' neighborhood so that I can help to take care of them. And I just felt the sincerity in her eyes. And I turned and I held her little hands in my hands because I know what it feels like to make these big decisions in life. And sometimes even the right decisions and the best choices, when you know they are right, sometimes they're still laced with pain and grief, the loss of change. And I just, in an instant, I got it. I got her. So I looked at her and I said, that's a brave decision. And I think you're so right in making that decision for yourself and for your parents. And they're very lucky to have a daughter like you. I hope that your days will be blessed and that you're not alone. I didn't need to say any more because I'm sure she could tell that I'm someone who knows what it feels like to make those decisions. Well, not only to make those decisions, but because my mother was neurologically ill from a very young age. And myself and my family, we went through years of supporting her before she went to live in a professional care facility. So, like I said, some decisions are right and they're good choices, but they're still hard. And you're not alone either. And the illusion of feeling like you're alone, that's a lie. So I just wanted to kind of bust that for her. I didn't want her to feel like she was all alone in the world carrying this load on her shoulders, because it could easily feel that way, but it's just not true. So I could see that tears were welling up in her eyes and she was fighting them back. We just had a solid moment of silence together, said thank you, knowing that I'll never see her again and she'll never see me again, but that for an instant in time, we got each other, said goodbye, wished each other well, and went our separate ways. And as I was walking away from the salon, back to my life and back to my kids, I thought, whoa, that's really interesting. I thought I was going to get a massage. And obviously I did, and I made the payment and everything. But sometimes getting is giving too. It felt like such a divine flow of, I went there to receive, but I was also there to give. And it could all happen at the same time in different forms and fluid forms. And it was just such a gracious thing for each other, for her to give to me and for me to receive, and for me to be able to just say, hey, I get you and I bless you. You're not alone. And for her to just receive it with all her heart. So, dear listeners, I love you. And this is your reminder to give and to receive readily. And that sometimes the best choices, they're not the easy ones. Sometimes the right decisions are still laced with pain, and you're still not alone. Thank you for listening. Learn more about me and my Kizuki Journaling Mae Y method at my website, kizukijournaling.com. That's KIZUKIJOURNALING.com. Or find me on Instagram at MAEYOSHIKAWA.